Hello everyone, it's Freya from the Sevenoaks camp. Some of you may recognise me from the other arts and crafts video that I did in the summer where we made lanterns. But this time we will be making some spooky themed objects and decoration right in time for Halloween that is right round the corner, and I hope everyone is really excited. I love Halloween. It's around the time of my birthday, so it always gets me excited, and I love all the costumes that everyone dresses up in, and especially the treats, not the tricks, that you get around Halloween. First we're going to make a scary, spooky canned ghost. Okay, so you only need 5 things to make this. The first thing you're going to need is an empty can or a full can that hasn't been opened. This is so that nothing gets spilt when we are making the crafts. The next thing you need is white paper, white plain paper. It can be A4, can be any size you want, as long as it covers the can. We can always stick some more paper to make the frills. We also need a black felt tip pen or marker pen. This is so that we can draw the the eyes and the mouth for the ghost. Some sellotape or glue to stick things with, and some scissors so that we can cut things out. Make sure you are really careful with these scissors. When you're not using them, hold them like this. You can always get help from someone older than you if you need help using scissors. Okay, so first you're going to grab your can and your paper, and you're going to wrap the paper around the can, making sure that all of the can is covered, but there is some space left over at the bottom of the can still, so that we can make this frilly. So we're going to just roll the can up. So you're going to make sure that the can is right at the top here, and you're going to stick this where this paper overlaps the other bit of paper, and you're going to stick that on like so. Just a bit of hair there. Yes, so it's like this. So you've got a long tail here, and the top is just here, like this. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our scissors and start cutting long lines from the bottom of the can right down to the end of the tail here. So just long straight lines all the way up to the bottom of the can here. And we then repeat this all the way around the can. So you can leave the size of the strip between each strip. It's completely up to you. So I'm going to do about a fingernail's width here. Might be quite difficult for some of you smaller ones, so you can ask for help if you have help around, just for someone else to hold the can while you cut these strips. This may take a bit of time, so you have to just be a little bit patient. It might actually be easier if you place the can on the table, hold the end of the strip and cut from here. Just like this. That's much, much easier. And then you don't have to ask for help. So we're going to do this all around the whole of the can still. Just to give it a really spooky, ghostly effect, so that you can blow in the wind or wiggle when you shake the can. just gives it a little bit more momentum. Just movement. As you can see, it's all very curly at the bottom, which is actually a good thing. It can be completely straight at the bottom or curly at the bottom. That's completely unique to your own can. And as you can see, it's a very rustly kind of sound, spooky sound. In the wind it could be, or if you just shake the can like that. And the next thing we're going to do is the face of the ghost. So if you grab your black felt tip pen, find the side of the can that looks the smoothest, and that's going to be the front of your ghost. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw 2 circles next to each other for the eyes and 1 bigger circle for the mouth, so that it's saying boo. So I am drawing using the can to lean against. I'm drawing 1 eye, another eye, going to colour them in like a ghostly eye, ghostly eyes, like so. Now you can leave some white circle here if you want to make the ghost a bit cute, but since I'm going for a spooky effect, I'm going to colour the eye completely in, just like this, and then a big spooky mouth as if he was going woo. And then colour that in. So here you have your spooky ghost, and I also put a boo speech mark, but you don't have to do that. You can also do any kind of monster you like. It just depends on what colour paper you use and what decoration you do. But I like these frilly bits because that's a ghostly effect. Or if it's a creature, these can be its tentacles or however you want to make them. I'm really excited for the next thing we're going to make. We're going to make a big black spider web out of a bin bag, actually. So that's going to be really cool and spooky, and I'm just going to get the materials that we need for that. This is the black bin bag cobweb that we've made. It's really, really spooky, and you can hang it round all over your house. Okay, so for this next one, the bin bag spider web, you're going to need obviously a bin bag. I have got one here, any ordinary bin bag. I have also got a marker pen that's silver, or it works with white, but just so I can draw an outline. As you can see, this is clearly done. I mean, you can try and do it with an outline, just I would find it a lot easier. And then what you also would need are your scissors, and that is it. So if you open up your bin bag to its full size, like this, you can actually see how it's really quite big. And that's going to be great because we're going to make a giant spider web. So you're going to open it completely up, all the way up, out, and then you're going to cut this in half so that it's no longer a bag and just one sheet of, bin liner. So just cut all the way down this side. So it might actually be easier to ham it straight out like this and then cut along the edge like this where it's sealed up. So I'm going to do that now and lie it down on the table here and cut along this line here. I've actually got a seam line where it's been fixed together, so it's quite easy to go along there. Oh, it's actually quite difficult, so I actually find it easier to use the end of the scissors to cut along. So continuing to cut all the way down the edge of the bin bag so that it opens out. So not in half, but just all the way down the edge so that it opens it out. It doesn't matter how straight you cut it, but obviously the straighter that you manage to cut it, the neater it will be. But it is spooky season, so maybe neatness is not everything. So as you can see, then you open this bin bag out, and there you have now one massive line. Actually, also you'll find that the bottom is still stuck together, so we're going to do the exact same with the bottom. So make sure that when you are cutting the bottom, it is actually the bottom that you're cutting rather than the other edge. So as you can see, this is my handle, this is the other edge. I won't be cutting the other edge, I will just be cutting the bottom so that it can completely open out. So I will do that now. In the straight line, all the way down. Yeah. You might need help with this, as this is actually going to be ginormous, and for you smaller ones it will probably be bigger than you, so it's almost bigger than me. So then you're going to open it all out, and now it's one big massive sheet, and then what you're going to do is you're actually going to make sure that this sheet is a square. So how you do that is you take one of the corners, because right now it's a massive rectangle, so you're going to take one of the corners and fold it inward. So if I just show you on a smaller scale how to make a rectangle into a square, we're going to do the exact same with our bin liner sheet. So take one corner and fold it in so it reaches the other opposite side, so it makes that triangle, and we're going to do that, and then we're going to cut off this bit. So I actually did that step off camera because I had to have some help too, as the bag was just so massive, because it's going to be a massive cobweb. So this should be your square, because the other one should be a rectangle, and we're going to put this one to the side for a bit whilst we concentrate on this square. So if I just show you again what we did with this small piece of paper. So we got our bin bag and we made a square. So we turned the rectangle into a square by taking the corner and taking it to the other side, folding it over like this, so it makes that triangle here, and then we see that rectangle, we cut that rectangle off, then you open this up, and then that should... Then what we're going to do is we're going to fold our square into lots and lots of triangles. So we're going to take one corner, and then the corner opposite, so diagonal, so not this corner next to it, the corner right to the opposite, and fold that like this, and then straighten this out. Again, you might need to ask for help, as this stage can be quite difficult. Then you're going to take this corner and the longer side of the triangle, and you're going to fold it again like this, making sure that all the corners are straight, and then I'm going to fold it over one more time so that it then looks like this. If it is too big for some people, if they would prefer to use something smaller, you can fold it up one other time, so like that. Perfect. So once you have folded that over 4 times, it should look a little bit like this. Very manageable size. So you're going to place this on the table in front of you, and then you're going to get your marker pen. And this is where we're going to draw out the stencil, the lines in which we're going to cut along next. Okay, so next we're going to draw a pattern, as I said, on the bin bag. As you can see from the picture behind me, this is the pattern that you're aiming to draw. So I'm going to attempt to draw this, bearing in mind you do not have to be the best artist. I am not the best artist, but if we just try and draw that now, I'm going to use the picture to copy as well. So going from the bottom, making sure that our paper is in that position. It's a lot easier to do with a silver marker, I think. So I've actually found it easier to draw the individual rectangles that were slightly bent, rather than trying to draw it line by line going upwards. But I did start from this bottom corner, but I am finding it relatively simple, just as long as you've got the right curve. It doesn't have to look exactly like that. As long as the right idea is there, then it should turn out perfectly spooky. So just finishing up this. Making sure that these lines are really bendy, the ones here. Really bendy so that it makes the cobweb look more... Okay, so here is my one. Done it slightly different, but you can see as long as you've got this line going along here and these ones coming out here, then that's absolutely fine. And then what you're going to do is you're going to cut along these lines so that these kind of rectangles will be cut out and these will stay attached to this one here, if you can see that. So I'll just do one to start and I'll show you what it should look like. So if I start down here, this bit might be a bit fiddly, so of course you can ask for help if there is anyone there. So as you can see, I am slowly starting to cut out each rectangle so that it looks like this. So the next ones I'm going to cut out is this one and this one, and then just carrying on cutting out this one and this one so that the gaps look like the rectangles that we've just cut out. So really concentrating so that you follow the line that you've drawn. Just like this. It is quite As it is a little bit fiddly, you're just going to be, need a little bit of patience because this will end up well. If you just hold tight to the bin bag so that when you do cut along the lines, the other layers of the bin bag don't slide around, because as this isn't paper, it's a lot more slippery than if it were paper. As you can see, it's coming along just like that. Almost looks like a skeleton or something spooky like that. Still need to keep readjusting it. As you can see, the lines have kind of come out here, so that's absolutely fine. Just readjust it, push it back into place, pull this over, and then carry on continuing to go along these lines with your scissors. It doesn't have to be completely neat because it will give that spooky sort of effect. Sorry, if I just angle that down a bit more, you can see what I'm doing a bit more, but just cutting along these lines like this. So this is it so far, almost done, a few more lines to go. It's quite difficult sometimes because I have to keep going over the same line, but again, that's just the patience. I think if you just hold on to the bin bags quite tightly, you can, make some progress with the scissors. Careful it doesn't bunch up underneath the scissors. So almost done. So I'm now coming up to the last line, which I will do now. There we go, and hopefully this is the cobweb that we're all be working towards. So just finishing touches here, making sure that all the lines that we drew are cut along. So now we're just going to unravel it. This might be a bit tricky, so you might want to ask again for some help. If not, just takes a lot of patience. Kind of just shake it around, and you can almost see it, but here is your cobweb, the giant bin bag cobweb. Perfect.